Hello, everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. Once again, it's Anne from Supercharge Lab on behalf of the AI Partnerships Podcast, coming to you with yet another amazing episode of our show. We're super delighted to introduce Jason Harder, the CEO of PFM Scheduling. PFM Scheduling is a revolutionizing scheduling software that helps clients to build schedules in a complex rules-based environment through automation. Now, here's a fun fact. Bill Gates, when he was 16, decided that he wanted to build a scheduling tool only so that he could sit beside a girl during his high school classes, thus thrusting scheduling as a service into the limelight. Surely there is a massive need for an automation and AI tool for scheduling. So, my guest today, Jason, has over 30 years of experience in healthcare and extensive clinical operational training and consultation experience in medium to large healthcare systems internationally. His last 8 years have been spent doing software design, managing a software development team, resulting in the successful spin-off of a software company, of which he is the current CEO. Apart from being the only solution provider that brings full automation and compliance to any scheduling environment, PFM scheduling helps clients to reduce HR expenses, increase productivity, and improves employee satisfaction. Huge warm welcome to you, Jason. Tell us more about you, your backstory, and how you got started on this boring but not so boring idea of scheduling.
Yeah, thank you, Anne. It's a pleasure to be here. I think you touched pretty well on my background. Actually started off as a registered respiratory therapist once upon a time. Also, as a certified pulmonary function technologist, and I'm a certified professional in healthcare quality. So, in that tenure, I did a lot of different things. Moved into the consulting arena, process reengineering, and so on. So, um, as I moved on to consulting, I did a lot of consulting internationally. And when I came back to Canada, I was actually approached by the University of Alberta to project manage their healthcare projects, specifically for a group called Alberta Ingenuity Center for Machine Learning, which was a machine learning research center within the computer science department at the University of Alberta. So how PFN came about is in my work for AICML, which is now AMI, Alberta Machine Intelligence Institute. I was asked by a large health system COO, "Do you think you could automate the schedule building process for complex unionized environments?" And I knew because of my experience in consulting in the vertical of workforce management that there was not a product that existed that could really meet the needs, the full needs of clients, in that area. So with that challenge, I went to the principal investigators at AICML and presented the problem, and they thought it was something worth actually dedicating some of their intellectual capital to. So with a group of principal investigators and some postdoctoral students, we started to look at this and developed an initial approach to solve this problem. Once that was done, I was really able to develop, a larger team and create a product that would actually meet these needs. So from the initial solving of the problem, we developed a product vision that expanded to designing and creating a whole suite of modules that would address the complete life cycle of a schedule. In that, we developed a checker module, a solver module, an optimizer module, and finally, an analytics module.
That's amazing. Let's talk a little bit about the processes that your solution undertakes to help your clients to build the schedule. Tell us how it works.
How it works is what we do is we translate written rules into computer code that our proprietary engine can use. So once we've done that, the user selects a body of rules that applies to a schedule. Then they input schedule requirements such as number of positions, shift types, number of people, and the shifts each position should work. And then this is sent to a solver where the solver actually creates 100% rule compliant, a rule compliant schedule.
So that's amazing. So, in a world where automation and scheduling solutions are becoming more and more on demand, what sets PFM scheduling apart from its competitors?
What sets us apart is first of all, I think our mission. Our mission is to make PFM work for our customers and not for our customers to figure out how to make PFM work for them. Our initial architecture and current architecture is flexible and it's designed to meet the unique needs of each customer. Because what we find is each customer does have these unique things that's different than the other. So we want to be able to satisfy those unique needs. Also, the number of rules our system can accommodate is limitless, and that sets us apart. When we create schedules, we satisfy 100% of the rule requirements. So we don't weight them, we don't just use some, but we use them all. Another thing is the fact that not only do you want to have a compliance schedule, but you also want to have a quality schedule, something that people want to work. So our users can activate custom rule sets designed to improve the quality of shift patterns and ensure equity between employees, both for full time employees and part time. Some of this also addresses fatigue and continuity of care issues. Furthermore, custom rules can be added to achieve specific quality criteria, for each customer. Also, PFM uses multiple methods of schedule creation, not just one. So we can solve using, linear, block, multi-block, just to name three. And I think the fact that we have international consulting experience as a foundation with respect to workforce management really helps us also because we're able to design and also reinforce best practices relative to scheduling. Also, sometimes developers create software in a vacuum. They have an idea and they create a product. But what we did is we used thousands of hours of input given to us by seasoned schedulers that had domain expertise. And what came from that, one big benefit was the fact that our process is very intuitive for schedulers. So it's easy to train them. And we at PFM, we addressed the whole schedule management cycle. Excuse me, the whole schedule management cycle. We create schedules, we evaluate them for compliance, we optimize them, and then data mine using metrics to provide operational intelligence that they can use to improve and manage the schedule cycle. So it's something you can use to continually improve the process and refine your schedules. It is a benefit that we can interface with any HRIS system, and it really, when we do that, it provides the most comprehensive system in the market. It's also a huge benefit to our customers that they realize benefits within the first month of the implementation process. So they don't have to wait for 8, but really quick, they can see the value that PFM brings.
That's impressive. So tell us what's next for PFM. What's your growth strategy looking like?
A growth strategy is obviously we have a product roadmap. We want to add report building functionality. That would be something where you just click on the right metrics, and when you're done, it actually generates a report for you. So you don't have to be a data analyst or a business analyst to actually mine and produce something of value. And we also are going to look at team based scheduling and competency based scheduling. There seems to become a real need in the market to be able to address that. With respect to growth, our plans for growth are to one, build a strong user base across Canada. So we're working on that. Then, as we do that and we have a lot of credibility, which we have built now, we want to establish a presence in the US. And then, like a lot of customers, we want to start going global. So, our international focus will start with Australia because the scheduling environment and challenges are much the same as what we see in the United environment in Canada. And when we've done all that, then we're also been looking at moving to other industry verticals, perhaps transportation and manufacturing.
Well, that's amazing. Thank you, Jason. So, if I were a healthcare organization and I wanted to get started with PFM scheduling, what are the process and steps that I need to take to get onboarded?
So first of all, I think our clients need to understand what the onboarding process is that gives our customers initial value within the first month. Our largest client has 125,000 employees with 5 different union agreements and 15 local agreement variations, and full implementation was completed in 8 months. Now, addressing what we do to onboard a client, first of all, we have a discovery meeting to understand the challenges our customers are wrestling with respect to scheduling. We define the scope of implementation. So, how many unions do you want to address with this implementation? And then we start with the first collective agreement or formal rule set. And we collaborate with the customer to create rules in a document that contains everything that's relevant to scheduling, both mandatory and custom rules. Once the rules are agreed upon, each rule definition is established and the customer signs off on the document signifying that it's complete and ready for implementation. Test cases are then sent to PFM that are believed to be 100% rule compliant, and we then begin translation. So the rules are translated into computer code, and test cases are run through the PFM checker module to ensure that all rule translations are accurate and also behaving appropriately. Next, we begin to apply the rule set to the solver module, and the test case schedule inputs are run through the solver, and the results are compared to the test cases. So what we're looking for is at least the same quality, if not better, in order to be acceptable with respect to the solver. Now, while the solve work is being done, users are trained to use the checker module, and this is where value for the client begins because they can now check any schedule that uses this language while we continue to the other implementation cycles. Once the solve results are acceptable, users are trained to use the solver module, so now they can actually solve schedules as well. This cycle is repeated for the collective agreement or each formal rule set.
That's amazing. Well, Jason, thank you for your time today, and perhaps we can just wrap up this session with a little bit of some words of advice to our listeners, as well as tell us how we can get in touch with you.
I think words of advice. One thing about PFM is that we have the most capable and functional scheduling suite in the market, and we have the consulting experience to help our customers create best practices and implement them utilizing change management expertise to reinforce them. So, some of the advice I have is for customers or potential customers to look at your processes, identify where the pain points are, and then we can come up with solutions to address them. And PFM can then help to reinforce those and reduce variation of practice with respect to scheduling. If you'd like to get in contact with us and get more information, we do have a website, pfmscheduling.com, and you can also email me at jharder@pfmscheduling.com.
All right. Well, thank you once again for your time today, Jason. Once again, it's Anne from Supercharge Lab signing off on behalf of the AI Partnerships podcast. Thank you once again for tuning in. See you very soon next time.